This is Hino's Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. We keeping the foot on the what? On the next. We keeping the foot on the what? On the next. All right, y'all. We got to get right into it, man. Errol, the Truth Spence. Errol Spence put everybody on notice. All of the damn welterweights. The welterweights are what we call guppies, dog. Little guppy variations. What do sharks do? Megalodon variations. They go after these little guppies and they do this. They eat them up, man. Sharks, they don't do what's called moving backwards. It's called forward progression, especially the megalodon. Do your research on that ancient shark. That ancient shark is all about eating orcas, all about eating whales, you know what I'm saying? Humpback whales, you know what I'm saying? You name it, they getting fucking eaten. Because sharks, once they smell blood, like we said yesterday, deepest, bluest, my heart is like a shark's fin. Deepest, bluest, my heart is like a shark's fin. Here's the problem with reverse bias, aka detractors, aka panders. Errol the Truth Spence came back on the scene. They don't want to give him credibility. Listen, man. Errol the Truth Spence put that stamp of approval, dog. The legend of Errol the Truth Spence continues. Errol Spence is back to dominate the welterweight division. Why did it take for him to have to come out of a temporary sabbatical, to come out of a car crash, just to make a division noticeable again? That tells me that the welterweight division is filled with a bunch of Rudy Poo and Plum Plum brains. Classic goats and troglodytes. Fighters that are, i.e., ultra fanboys with the ultra fanboy rhetoric. Because if these fighters were for real, right? And these fighters weren't basically what I would call dodo heads, or what I would call brain full of mush and brainwashy types, they would have stepped out and did their thing. They would have showed throughout the time that Errol the Truth Spence is in a temporary sabbatical, doing heavyweight lifting. The only welterweight that did this is Dennis Ugas. Dennis Ugas damn near mangled the likes of an Omar Figueroa. This is why he's the boogeyman. Sean Porter don't even want to mention his name. That's what boogeyman status is all about. Errol the Truth Spence was the former boogeyman because guess what? Nobody would mention his name. This is what boogeyman status is about. Lest y'all forget. Lest I have to remind y'all asses. Let me say it again. Lest y'all forget. Lest I have to remind y'all asses. Keith Thurman didn't want no parts of Errol the Truth Spence. They pushed that shit up to 10 million. That's boogeyman status. That was before Errol the Truth Spence had a belt, before Errol the Truth Spence was notable in any form, any fashion, any variation. Danny Garcia wanted $10 million. Boogeyman status. Sean Porter, Kenny Porter. Yeah, we'll fight him if Floyd wants us to fight him, but for $10 million. That's boogeyman status. You know what that means? High risk, low reward. High risk, low reward. And number 3, for the number of confirmation. High risk, low reward. So they wanted a high reward for the high risk because they understood, or they understand, that Errol the Truth Spence was going to be Mr. Tactical Aggression, technical punching placement, and body snatching work, the levying onslaught of the punishment style. He was going to punish their asses in the boxing ring, and they couldn't stand for that. So here's the truth of the fact of the matter. Here's the cold-hearted, the unadulterated, the cutthroat, truth-telling fashion. Errol the Truth Spence is that dude at the welterweight division. He's laid his stake in his claim. This is what true alpha extraordinaires do. They go in there and they drop the Manonia down. And they ask anybody, are they worthy to pick it up? Woo. What I said was so deep and profound. Hear me and hear me well. They go in there and they drop the Manonia. And they ask anybody in the room, are you worthy to pick it up? Everyone tries to do it. You guys remember the Avengers 2 when Iron Man tried to pick it up, Captain America tried to pick it up, all of them tried to pick it up, they couldn't pick it up. We knew Captain America ended up being the one to pick it up. Guess what? Dennis Ugas is a Captain America. He can pick that motherfucker up. He's the only one that when you really look at it and you digest it, he would give Errol the Truth Spence fits in the boxing ring. You know why I know this? Because he has a Cuban background pedigree. And he could box for shit. And he got some strength on his ass. And he got some height differential. And he got some separation. That's the fight that I would actually be the most intrigued to watch. But not at welterweight. For that fight to be in its full vernacular and full variation, it needs to be at 154. Because Errol the Truth Spence will be more stronger. He will have more girth. He will have more strength. He would be more of a natural weight. And the same for Dennis Ugas. These guys are big ass welterweights, man. You imagine how much more harder they would hit at 154. Now, I know some reverse bias, AK detractors, AK panders going to say, you see, you try to say Errol the True Spence is weight bully. We 8 Mile the situation. See, we get ahead of their ass before we do. Remember, I'm Sosu, AK Art of War, 7 steps ahead of the game. So you can't take what I said and change it, you reverse bias, AK detractors, AK panders. So hear me, and hear me well. Get the earwax out and get to the damn listening, dog. Get the notepads out and get to the damn scribbling and get the popcorn out and get to the damn to the popping. Here's what I said. So again, let this marinate in the corpus callosum and in the medulla oblongata. I never call Errol the True Spence weight bully. That weight bully terminology is a reverse bias, AK detractor, AK panderer terminology. What I said is he's more of a natural 154 pounder. But he makes weight each and every single time at 147. He started his career at 154. So I have the cold-hearted, the unadulterated, the cutthroat truth teller fashion basically in line with me. Remember, I reside in the truth. I'm the ultimate truth teller. Your Dennis Ugas, when you look at him, he's big. He's big as fuck, like a Kell Brook. So he would be more natural at 154. That's what I said. I didn't say that they are 154 pounders masquerading at 147. Don't get that shit twisted. Now that we've clarified that, that's when that fight should happen at 154. It would make the most sense. Because then they both would be basically at their strongest in terms of their strength. Because when you move up a weight class, strength comes to you, especially when you're naturally bigger. And that fight would determine who is more supreme. I know the fit study Dennis Ugas will give Errol the True Spence, but Errol the True Spence still will whoop his ass. It would remind you of a Floyd Mayweather and a Miguel Cotto type of fight. Let me say it again. It will remind you of a Floyd Mayweather and Miguel Cotto type of fight. That's how I would determine a fight like that. But Errol the True Spence, since he's more of a punisher by trade, he's going to levy a little bit more punishment. But if I'm going to give a comparison and a liking to the fight, that's how that fight would play out. Because Dennis Ugas does have some arsenals there, and he does have some weaponry there that could give Errol the True Spence fence. But he's the only welterweight that has that. But Errol the True Spence will still park his ass. He will still punish his ass. That don't get it twisted. That will never change. But what I'm talking about here is 147. Spence lined it up. Mr. Free Smoke Jr. told you. Danny Garcia first. Manny Pacquiao second. Terrence Buck Crawford third. And you know what reverse bias, AK detractors, AK panders is doing? Well, that's why they don't have no videos out on Errol the True Spence. Because they don't know how to get after him. See, they were waiting for coup de Trill or do the Kurov. They wanted something like that so they could say, you see, Spence is showcasing that, he is supposedly drunk. He's showcasing that, the car crash is taking a toll on him. Look who he's fighting for his first fight. They don't have that. Because that's what reverse bias, AK detractors, AK panders do. They fucking pander. They detract. And they're reverse bias, meaning they want their cake and they want to eat it too in their form of biasm. Let me say it again. They want their cake and they want to eat it too in the form of their biasm. But Errol the True Spence took it away from them, just like he knows the sport does. Because when you're the truth in the ring and there's no lies in your damn fist, and he knows the sport is the ultimate truth teller on YouTube, we keeps the foot on the what? On the next. We keeps the foot on the what? On the next. There's no room to argue. There's no room to display. There's no room to go against it. You just have to accept it. So now the question is Errol the True Spence going to return back to form? This is what they're running with because they can't talk about his opponents. Let me say it again. Is Errol the True Spence going to return back to form? Because they can't talk about his opponents because they got nothing to stand on with that. You see what I'm talking about? This is what reverse bias, AK detractors, AK panders do. Because they don't operate in the realm of truth-telling fashion, they always looking for the next shit so that they can try to steer you off track. Spence is that dude at 147. And it took for his return, his fucking presence, his megalodon variation of her deepest, bluest, my heart is like a shark's fin. Deepest, bluest, my heart is like a shark's fin for the welterweight division to be put on notice. One guy can be a mover and a shaker in a division. That tells me everything I need to know about the division. You know what it tells me? That the welterweight division is filled with nothing but what? Little fucking what? Guppies. Let me say it again. Little fucking what? Guppies. Once Errol the True Spence clean out the 147-pound division, it will come from relevancy to non-relevancy. Let me say it again. Once Errol the True Spence clean out 147, it will go from relevancy to non-relevancy. I keeps the foot on the what? On the next. I keeps the foot on the what? On the next. This is He Knows the Sport. Checking out.